So we find ourselves in a tavern to begin this adventure, uh, as the party has reconvened after going their separate ways and finding out some information about what is going on in the university and what is about to happen. We had Hera and Ghost talking to Professor Tavash. Hera unloading all that has happened, and by all, Ghost heard more and more about some of the struggles that Hera's been going through, but at the same time, uh, enlightened to what Hera's plans might be. The professor was on board with everything Hera has done and encouraged her to basically spell out her own adventure. Also embraced, not embraced, but like kind of clocked Ghost in a weird way. We had Molokov and Jalug question Shapiro before thinking they didn't want anything to do with this, and went off to the Fire Jolt Cafe, while Puck ran into Josu one-on-one and walked away. I think is a lesson we all get told as kids: is walk away, be the bigger man, before going to the Witherbloom College and interacting with Ghost and Hera. And Tavash also gave a bit of a strange look to Puck as well, but there was no time to dwell on that. Went back to the site of the crime, found no one was there, before meeting everyone together in the Fire Jolt Cafe, having some interesting food, and making a plan for to the next day. So as you kind of finish up your drinks, and it's getting late now, I think the plan was to head back to the Witherbloom dormitory that had been offered to Hera. But is there anything, let's start from the tavern or the cafe. And is there anything you want to do along the way? You're all feeling pretty exhausted by this point. There's a few cuts and bruises. Yeah. What's the evening plan?
Hera and I possibly look like we've showered, which is very confusing to the rest of you.
You look a bit refreshed. Still not tired. It was just your hit points that were regained.
It was. Most of the stuff I want to do is kind of not necessarily tavern based.
Okay, yeah, there will still be time for that, but just see if Dale can come on. Otherwise, you do kind of finish up your last drink, pay your way to the barkeep, and some students are getting a little bit rowdy now. It's getting a bit later in the night, and it's noisy. The band's really starting to ramp up, and on any other night, it might have been a fun night to stay out and enjoy the festivities of the university, but probably not right now in case anything goes awry.
I've taken like 10 gold off my inventory because I imagine I just was constant because I'm like, I don't know who these people are with this plan and everything. So I'm constantly like ducking in and out, being like, yeah, I can do that, but going getting the drink. So I think I've paid for it. Let's go with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Probably like made a few friends as well along the way. Like, and they're just like, oh, Jalug's back at the bar. Yes, all right. Hey, come. He'll buy you a drink.
There is one thing I'd like to do here. Me?
Yeah, go for it.
Dependent on setting. So you said that the Auric tend to base themselves somewhere around the Fire Jolt and I've got Bowtie. Are there many of them around here?
Yeah, so Bowtie Tavern is the place where outside... Correct. That's kind of almost the tavern of Mulgrave University. Whereas Fire Jolt is definitely the student bar. The only lead you got on that was the Professor of Chaos, Prague, saying that they probably are staying between the two. You look around here, and there are no Oryx inside, but you did see a couple lingering around outside.
All right. Sure thing.
Dave?
Hey, Hera, mind if I borrow your... Weird question. I haven't done this in a few years, but can I have a cigarette?
Oh, for sure. Seems like a good idea. Going to roll on.
Oh, why don't you join me? Pop out for a cigarette.
Sure. Pop out. The night's getting a bit cooler, and funny enough, it's being at the top of the city of towers. A lot of the drone is not present, but it's still kind of felt, and you can definitely tell that you're in a city. The hum of the city still kind of radiates through the night, and almost you get that like light bleed from the city of all the lanterns and stuff that are on, kind of fill the sky, and there are still skyships kind of cruising past at higher altitude, but that drone of just busyness still fills the air.
Sean never sleeps, huh? And then sort of just looking around the courtyard, see if I can spot a pair of them walking by or something, and I'll just
Of the Auric
pull
Guard?
the Auric Guard.
Yep.
Pull a rather shiny gold-rimmed lens out of my pocket, sort of just brush it and take a look at. I use the True Seeing.
Sure. Give me a perception check.
We're exhausted. It's not bad for exhausted. I can never remember my perception. 13.
13. The head of the cigarette does give you a bit of a rush, but you also then realize that you just need to close your eyes and go to sleep. But you kind of, it's that thing where your eyes are heavy, but you just got to do a couple more things. You put up that lens, and you look at these two moving across, and beneath the armor, you see that it's not thick armor, but it definitely has sturdiness to it. And you see that it is kind of almost imbued with some sort of energy. Maybe feeling like the best thing I could think of is like the Black Panther kinetic energy armor. Is they can probably take a hit or two before they go down. I don't think you've talked to Jalug much about who are hired in this group, but underneath you do see the metallic forms of two Warforged.
Cool. Yep. Seems like our suspicions might be right.
Not quite sure what we're going to do about it.
A whole lot of not much, I think. We just get to sit here and watch what happens unfold.
At this point, the rest of the party have packed up and paid up and kind of meet you outside, and you start to head towards the dormitory. Here, you'd probably be leading the way. Much like the three that have now gone there, you reach this point of the university, Molokov and Jalug, that looks a little bit run. Molokov, you are 100% familiar with this, of course. You have been to Hera's dormitory. You even probably stayed there most of the time, just for a bit of safety and companionship as well. But Jalug, you see these buildings that they look like they haven't been taken care of in a long time, but the moss is growing. There's some bugs around, and it kind of almost reminds you of your homelands, of the Hobgoblin or the Orc and Goblin Empire. that once stood thousands of years ago. The tribes now still have residents in them, but they don't upkeep them. They kind of build on top and build on top and kind of create their own thing. And you kind of get that presence of, even though there are ruins, you can still make them yours. As you step through the doors to the detention bog, here you notice that you kind of almost get a feeling of accomplishment already done. And you kind of don't step into the swamp that you were expecting, but more into the kind of inside of Witherbloom College. Now here you have tree roots growing all through the concrete and hallways going off in different directions. But to everyone sees, walk around the corner, this human male with grey hair slicked back in a big mossy coat as Tavash comes round to greet you. Ah, Hera. Welcome back. Hope the night wasn't too full of booze and such. Like I said, your dormitory is open to you. I've cleared it out for you and your, and he looks behind you, friends.
Thank you. It's much appreciated. We are all definitely in need of a good sleep. Perhaps we can have a conversation in the morning.
Oh, you know where my office is. It's good to meet you all. And welcome back, Molokov. It gives a nod to you.
Thank you.
Turns away and hands you like a little iron key, Hera, and points you in the direction down. You know where the dormitories sit. As you kind of go down these halls, and all of you kind of like pick up that this is a weird place. It's kind of in between ruins and a bog and a swamp, but also it is still within the university. And you come to this area where you'd expect a cottage on a lawn, but it's not. It's almost like a wooden vine building surrounded by dead trees and green water. As Hera walks up and unlocks the door, you will see your dorm for the night.
I don't like that there's a battle map for our accommodation.
Hey, there was a battle map for the academy as well. As you kind of all stand in the doorway, you have a couple of hours of the evening before you probably should have to rest. So I hand it over to you to be welcomed into Hera's home, basically.
This is
I go straight to my usual couch and
Wait, let me guess. It's this one.
You get into there's a center hearth there, and as you walk into the room, you feel the flames kind of automatically come on, and the temperature of the room feels just right to you, Molokov. And anyone that follows you in there, unbeknownst to them, feels just right to them as well, even if that is a different temperature. So if Jalug likes the colder temperature, the fire appears to him a little bit smaller, and so on and so forth. So it caters to the individual.
Is it still real fire?
I mean, you probably still have a charge left on your lens if you want to look at the fire.
I don't
Do you
have a
wanna touch
charge
it?
left on my lens.
Do you want to jump
Oh,
in it
yeah,
and see
I
if
mean-
you take fire damage?
I'm gonna jump in, but like it behaves like I could take a piece of paper and it will start burning at the edges.
That depends if you want to try that.
I do.
Okay. You take out a scrap piece of paper and put it to the fire, and the closer you get, you feel the warmth heat up a little bit, and then the piece of paper ignites.
You don't have to add to the fire. It'll keep itself.
Thanks, Yara. I think I'm 2 steps ahead of you this time. I'll take out a scrap piece of metal and just place it in the edge of the fire. All right, Puck, what do you need?
And I'll start listing off the things that I would need to forge copies of this invitation. So I don't know if that's a bit of like leaf or certain colored inks, and parchment, that sort of stuff. So,
Yep. I think I can come up with something. Writing implements. I need something to pin that. I need to do the engravings. Okay. I'll spend the next hour or the first hour using my Write Tool for the Job feature. Pulling pages out of my notebook, tinctures of like various spices or herbs. I might even pinch some off Hera to create stains, as well as formulating from that pieces of scrap metal some like little picks and flat edges to like create embroidery art, and I will build a set of forgery tools.
Nice. Your feature, does that require a check or anything, or do you just be able to create one?
I believe all I need to do...
I think it's just spend an hour and you can do it.
It's just spend an hour, yeah. Yep.
So I would say to you, Molokov, this almost warms your heart a little, is you see this dormitory almost come back to life. Here are you two, that someone has come in and they're not even a student and they have laid out their plans, they have laid out their tools. Already this room looks messy in the way that a student dorm does. Tavash had clearly cleared this out, and, a couple of help bots might have been through here and swept and stuff, but already the mess of creation is back in this place, and you were just lounging on the couch with your feet up on the like curved arm of it as Ghost starts working away with Puck. You can choose to be like involved in it, or you can go off and do your own thing as well.
No, yeah, Puck's glad of the distraction, and he'll be can we get one that's got this kind of a point on it or something like that for some of the things to help make I imagine the ornate scroll work and things around the outside.
Oh, yeah. Even I will make you a quill, like an actual writing tool as well, but rather than that like V-shaped point with a split in it, it's more like a spiral that comes to a fine tip. The ink just kind of wells down it. Stuff like that.
Very nice.
Hey, Molokov, if you got a moment, you mind getting a head start on something else for me?
Yes. I was awake. Yes.
Nothing too arduous. I'll give you 2 very large sheets of yellowed fabric with giant embroidery in giant, should I say, down the edges, and essentially a pattern. Just be like, can you just cut these out for me?
Much of that. I will attempt to make, how many is it? Two giant-sized cloaks into 5 normal-sized cloaks.
Sure.
Three normal, 2 small.
Yes.
Not your forte of fabric designing, Molokov. So can you give me a performance check, please?
Ooh.
Sure thing.
Hey,
Love exhaustion.
That pattern's backwards. Have guidance.
You say half guidance?
Have guidance.
Oh, have guidance.
Love that. I was about to ask if I could guide myself. Performance is -1 for 0.
0. I'm gonna say
I butcher the cloaks.
no. I don't think you butcher it. You're exhausted, and you start cutting, and then you hold on. Am I starting on this side and you turn it round? No, I'll start on the other side, and you turn it around, and it starts to actually give you a headache.
Abandons the job.
I almost did it. I can literally see it because we have been up for so fucking long now. I can literally see him sitting on the couch. Like you shove all this shit on him, and he's just sitting on the. He is like, yes, I will do. I will do.
With the
And like
shoulders in his bag.
starts just using it as a blanket.
I've done. Well, you're so tired, but you still want to do something, and you're one elbow propped up, lying half on the couch, still trying to do something. But this hand's kind of useless because it's not going nowhere. So.
That is exactly the scene here. What else is happening in the storm? You can move your tokens to the rooms that you want to be in.
Once
I
the
think
forgery kit's
Jalou-
done, that's what Puck's doing.
Jalub's going to be cleaning his armor, I guess, because
Sure,
he's
sure.
like planning on still wearing it and it's like, it's pretty new and fresh and everything. So he's going to be, I don't know, yeah. He's gone to the bathroom and just like, I assume those are wooden baths, and so he's just like, giving it a good clean, and like there's probably oil and stuff everywhere as he's just, making sure that the plate armor's spick and span and, lubricated well on the joints, but also like shiny because he's like, oh, we've got to look fancy, but I still want to wear the armor, so I'm doing that.
Yeah,
Maybe
nice.
I'll even have a bath. Probably not.
Give me a just a dexterity check.
It's -1. Oh no, dex, so +1, so that's 11.
At disadvantage as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
Um,
17 and a 10.
Oh,
So
nice. Same thing is you're used to going a couple of days hard on the road and all that, but when it's a one full day of just thing after thing after thing, you do feel it in your joints, and I think it's not even cleaning your armor, but taking it off and not having to watch your back is probably a lot more relaxing to Jalub than even taking the bath, and just taking that time to make sure. I think you mentioned that you do wear some older iconography and such from your soldier days, and maybe just that routine of giving it that clean and making sure it's up to standard and tightening that leather strap there and making sure that the shoulders fit properly and you almost prop it up on a hook or something. And there are little help bots around here, little cog machines that you can kind of like hand it over and they like rinse things out, and yeah, you kind of get in a little Snow White montage of cleaning your armor and let out a sigh of relief when the hot steam hits your body.
yeah.
The various tinkings and tankerings of armor coming off, tools being made. Even Ghost like pauses for a minute at one point and just kind of looks around the room and like sort of down the hall hearing Jalug run a bath. Like thought goes through his head of like, oh shit, I could get used to this.
Hera, anything?
Continues on his way.
Yes. Ghost, like probably like similar to what Ghost just said with that second of looking up. Like since we've been back almost, like coming, we're all exhausted. Like Molokov straight to the couch, just having a snooze. That's classic Mol. But like here would have just sat down, like you said, put like the feet over the side of this, like not sitting on a couch lying down, but like slumped over an actual chair, just like hearing all the noises, the tinkering going on. I would have just been lying there, probably rolled another cigarette, would have been sitting there just playing with my crystal ball, big smile on her face, just eyes closed. She feels more at home than ever now. Just this noise of students tinkering and discussing plans, and yeah, this is like she felt at home when she came back and met Tavash, but it was still that sense of urgency of everything. But being back in here, just having Busy in the background, she's almost just falling asleep on the couch.
Yeah, Molokov's got a big smile on his face, lying there. Pseudo dragon curled up in his lap.
Yep.
Almost nostalgic and like feels safe at this point. Feels like no problems have started. Like got class tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. Before you try and convince me anymore not to carry on the adventure, we go over like an hour. You finish the forgery kit, Ghost. You're all feeling this. Julie, you kind of finish up with your bath and put the armor either back on, or you kind of get as much that you can put on in the morning. What I want to know is, it's late now. Like, we're talking kind of 10, 11. We're getting to that kind of stage. Are people going to fall asleep where they are, for the likes of Molokov and Hera and stuff, or there are beds available? Obviously, you'd have to be in separate rooms. But I want to know what the, are we going to keep watch in a dormitory? Are we going to, what does this night look like as everyone kind of lays down to rest?
I think Molokov's definitely crash straight out, but he'll at some point he'll wake up and I think he'll probably do a bit of a perimeter check whenever that is, but I don't think he'll focus too much on, like, I don't think it'll be like a full spend however many hours on watch. I think it'll be like check if anything's wrong, make sure everyone's okay, and pop off to bed.
Yep. And where are you sleeping?
Ooh. Let's say I reckon he's as close to the living. I reckon somewhere like that one.
Nice. Hera?
I was gonna say actually, but being quite tired and one, I probably would have found myself getting comfortable there and decided to go to sleep. So Molokov looked like he was actually asleep over there. I probably would have put a blanket on him before going to bed, so he would have woken up at least a little bit more comfortable. But I would have just gone straight to one of the rooms. I suppose I'll go.
Ghost?
I would have just out. I'm not even thinking about perimeters or anything like that.
Yeah, I think Ghost finishes up and then starts doing what he should have done an hour ago, and like taking his own clothes off and unstrapping his breastplate, which fucking stinks. And the rest of that, spends a couple of minutes using a very fine copper thread to mend any like rips and tears, and through the mending spell, like none of you see it, but he ends up cutting a piece of the thread at the end and pulls it back through the stitch, and it's like there was no damage whatsoever. And then he ends up sitting here, just staring into the fire for a bit, and probably just falls asleep on the couch.
And Puck? And Jaluk, I guess.
Puck definitely takes quite a long time to settle for bed. He probably just wanders around the house. He's a bit shaken up and looking at the books and things, and just sort of wandering around, sort of lost in his own thoughts. And every once in a while, just sort of looking around. He's not rubbing his eyes, not sure if it's because he's really tired or just this place, but seeing little wisps of and motes of green sort of smoke and stuff appearing, and he kind of feels a bit familiar, but he's not really sure exactly what's going on, and he's pretty just caught up in his own thoughts before eventually just sort of wandering down end of the hall, probably just looking for a bed in a room on his own, but not realizing Jalug maybe was already there or not, but he's pretty tired, doesn't really even notice, and he's just going to crash in there and sleeps in his, take off the worst parts of the armor, but like just falls asleep. He's very, very tired, dagger under the pillow, not not really settled, but exhausted and needs the rest.
Yeah, Jalug's going to have been sleeping, not wearing his armor, but kind of wrapped up in his cloak. Not really. I mean, these are student accommodation, so it's probably not that different to like some of the other. But nevertheless, he's even though there's been like fights and all this intrigue and political maneuvering happening at the university, he kind of just feels pretty safe here. And so, but also he's kind of aware of there's very powerful wizards and stuff around here. So he's not quite sure that there's much he can do anyway. Like, so he's not. It's a bit weird, but he's sort of resigned to the fact that if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. So there's no point trying to stay up and protect against it. So he's after that and the armor's sort of laid out, ready to put on. It'll take time, obviously, but he's just like, it's going. If it happens, it happens. So I'm going to have a sleep.
Nice. So, Ghost, as you kind of stare into the flames and kind of nod off a little bit, you feel that someone might have gotten up and is moving around the lounge with you. You kind of half open an eye and see a figure on the other side of the fireplace, and kind of close your eyes again, and you open them again, and you can see on the other side of the fireplace a tall, slender figure with white robes and an ivory and emerald mask that you recognize as part of the Undying Court, that triangular mask. And you kind of almost have to blink a couple of times. Give me a perception check.
Yep, 5.
5. It kind of, you blink and it's not there, and then you kind of refocus, and it's looking through this fireplace. You see this figure, and you kind of get the sense of safety that still lingers around you, and you hear in your head the figure says, "You are walking the road you do not see." And it feels like 10 voices talking just at the same time, but it doesn't seem overwhelming. It almost seems soothing. It seems layered.
That sounds about right. I don't
But
claim to see everything, and I'm still walking.
there is a wound that must be closed. You are walking to close that wound. You must seek the help that we need.
I don't understand. My wound?
You
Something in me?
feel a relief, kind of almost like a smile comes through the fireplace. The wound is bigger than you and me. We must guide, and we cannot guide while we are hurt. You get a flashback of the souls being guided to paradise, being ripped into this Yellow Emperor's army.
But I'm just I'm just one guy.
Yes. Yes, and that's what makes you right. For you should guide those that are full of power, those that have no stake in the world, all walks of life. You can guide them, for they seek your guidance. And the word seek kind of echoes a little bit.
In his half awake, comfortable through the fire, weird hallucinatory state he's in, he kind of remembers what he said to Hera earlier today. And he remembers the hug that they shared after all the conversation. Thanks. I guess you're right. I'd like to try. I
You
just
see
wish
the-
there was more I could do.
You see the figure kind of move towards the fireplace, and you kind of almost instinctively go up to try and stop them. But they move through it. And when they do, they step through the other side. You realize that this is some sort of vision, some sort of this thing is not here in reality. But you kind of almost lock onto that triangular mask, that white ivory with the emerald eyes. And it says, or you get the feeling that it says, "Look for our face, and we will guide you the right way. Look for us within others." You kind of get a feeling that you can now look for them in others, and they may be able to guide you as to what direction this person's soul is going.
I imagine that comes with a glow and the scarring across the back of his head and down his neck.
Yeah.
And he feels the sting that usually causes him pain, but probably this time it's warm. It wince for a second, but it's like having hot water poured down the back of your neck. It catches you off guard, but it's pleasant. Will you be with me tomorrow?
It stops and looks down at you, and you can almost see it looking at your mark. And it says, "We have always been there." And you kind of blink, and the room is empty.
Then I'm on the right path. Whatever the hell that means. He'll probably get up for a sec and go for a walk, similar to what Molokov did.
You check in on everyone and just poke your head through the doors, and everyone seems to be snoozing quite calmly. You see the breaths. I don't know how you did that, Jono, but it was fantastic. Balloons just popped up on your Discord. You check in on everyone. You see everyone breathing. You see Puck's hand under the pillow. You know it's holding on to a knife or something. But yeah.
How does this work? I think, yeah. No, it's okay. I'll stop by Hera's door for just a second longer.
Yeah.
And then, Realize that bed's looking pretty enticing,
Sure.
and I'll roll myself into it.
Nice. Molokov, as you kind of toss and turn a little, getting to sleep, sleep comes quite easily in this safety of this house, but there's something that just doesn't, you can't quite get comfortable. And I just want to know, is there something Molokov would do to kind of just, if he can't get to sleep, something that he routinely does, or go for a walk, or just kind of go through a fact in his head or something like that? Because you keep finding yourself, your eyes are open, you're looking at the dark ceiling.
Yeah, and I imagine it's sort of, normally he would have probably just crashed out on the couch for the whole night, but that'll be why he ended up hopping off the bed, and then still wasn't right. So I don't know if it's something he would have usually done, but I think given the circumstances and given that he has it, I think he's going to pull out that pouch of the stuff we stole from the mountain men.
Called it. I fucking called it. I said it. I said the smoke weed gift. I called it.
And the pipe that they had.
Yeah.
He'll probably go out. I think.
Sure.
Find a little outside spot for it.
Yep.
And he'll have a few puffs on that, and
You
I think he'll probably. Oh yeah, sorry.
You go to light it. You get a match out and strike it, or actually, you probably got some contraption of a little lighter or something.
There is, in fact, a lighter in the hand.
Oh, in the mechanical hand.
Yeah, I can make a flame.
I like that. So what you do is you pull out your hand, and you click flame on. But that doesn't sound metallic. And you look down at your hand, in the flesh, as you sit with this unlit pipe outside.
Would you look at that? I think he probably, at that and not having, not having ever needed a lighter for such a long time, I think he would just sort of almost be a little stunned, and I guess almost take that as a sign and put it down. And I think he'll, I guess, maybe knows he's dreaming or thinks he's dreaming.
Give me
Sort of
Give me a wisdom check.
An 8.
An 8. You kind of think on it for a while before you get to that point. And you hear a voice from behind you. And you thought you were leaning up against a tree stump, but now you almost feel like you're leaning up against someone's shoulders, like back to back. And the voice it's almost muffled and kind of a bit like radio staticky. But it sounds feminine. And it says, "Need a light?" And you feel a match in your hand.
Thank you.
You take a puff.
Where have you been?
Where have you been, you ask?
Yeah.
Right here. You kind of laughs it off. Where have you been?
I think in almost that dreamlike way of, I guess, not knowing how I got here or what's necessarily going on. I don't know. I feel I've been not at home for a while.
We've missed you. And it kind of goes, well, backwards, and it kind of shivers for a bit and then clears up.
I'm almost imagining he hasn't even turned around yet.
I would like you to specifically say if you're going to turn around.
I think he doesn't, out of fear that that's gonna go away. It's good to be back. In any case,
Will you leave again? The voice comes.
I think so. He sort of realizes it as he says it.
Well, I can't wait for our next adventure.
Me too, my friend. Me too.
Need a light? And you feel a match in your hand again.
I will turn around. At
You
that.
turn around and see your pillow inside as you wake up. And you look at your hand, and the match is on.
That sort of really dry mouth, maybe. Gets up and gets a drink.
You get up and get a drink and down it, but your mouth still feels parched. And as you take the drink, you notice almost a green flash at the bottom of the glass. But you look and you can't. It's almost a catch of the light.
Looks at his hand. Is it metal again?
It always was.
Of course. Wait. Takes another drink and tries his best to pass out.
You close your eyes again and drift off. Puck, you sleep quite well for a few hours. Almost you feel your body that definitely needs it. But you're still always aware. Always on edge. I'd like to get a perception check, please.
I got a 1 on with one of the disadvantage, but that ends up giving me I believe that's a modified 20. Yeah, modified 20.
What I won't ask you all the time, but like, what does this look like? That he gets that 20 out of that one.
I think he's maybe he's hearing something or he's twitching a little bit, and then yeah, I don't know, like a little a bug moves sort of on the wall near him, and it knocks off just a little bit of plaster or something, which falls on the side of his head.
Wakes him up just that bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fucking bug, this place is crawling with them, even though you can't always see them, and you wipe that bit of plaster off, and then you hear a thud on the roof.
Yeah, he's immediately up drawing. He's got the dagger in one hand, but he's now drawing the sword.
Yep. Silence.
I'll go in the direction that I heard it coming from.
Sure, like it sounds the roof above you, from the outside.
Is there a window in the room? Maybe I'll have a little look at like the window.
Yeah, you look out the window and it's a bit, you can't see on top of the house, but doesn't seem to be any movement.
He's going to sit or still stand or whatever, but he's like almost every muscle is tense.
Yeah, you hold this tension and then you focus in. No check required, but you focus in and you can hear the slight creak that someone is moving up there on the roof. But they are moving very stealthily.
I would wake Jalug.
Look at Jalug. Jalug, you get woken up.
Someone's on the roof.
Like kind of 1 second shake, then bang, awake. Just used to that. You know.
And he looks
need to be
at
ready
Puck's
to
got
go
his
for it.
weapons drawn.
Yep. You see that Puck is ready to go, and you're like, whoa, hold on.
Then rise slowly out of the bed, like just pop, just like
Yep.
this slow, calculated stretching out, just waking up the muscles pretty quickly, and I will. Are there stairs? Like, is there like up to the roof, or it's like you go outside kind of?
It's
thing,
only
or-
one. It's only one story.
It's just one story. I will.
Like I think this lounge thing is in a tree, but like it's a one-story
Yeah.
cabin, kind of log cabin look kind of thing.
I will flip roll out of the window, like open it, just be outside,
Yeah, sure.
looking up straight away.
As he does that, I'm going to make sure I grab the immovable rod. Actually, just going to grab I'm going to grab the immovable rod and the horn of silent alarm.
Yep.
And then I'm going to dive out after him.
All right, you dive out after him. So give me a perception check as you kind of scan the roof.
A 19 and a 20, so that's pretty good.
Cool.
I think perception's like +2, so 21. Obviously, those 2 hours of sleep have worked.
You see, kind of in the center of the roof, a hooded figure moving across. But you can't hear them, even with that perception. Like you see, and only just a glimpse. But you're like, how can I not hear this thing moving? But go on.
I will battle thing, and I don't know if Puck understands it at all, but I'll like do this, and then I'll start moving around the side, like looking for where's the best way to lead myself up onto the roof.
Yep.
Yeah.
Puck?
He definitely doesn't understand battle sign.
Yeah, I figured not.
But he's going to see you taking off that way, and he's going to, with a combination of the boots of striding and springing and the immovable rod, sort of like jump up, click it on, and then use that to like slide onto the roof and then take it off, and then he's going to ignite the blade.
Yep.
And not trying to be stealthy. He's going to walk quite intentionally loudly across this roof and see if this thing gives him attention. Trying to essentially get the attention so that Jalug can go around the back, kind of thing.
Yep.
And potentially the noise wakes up the people inside, but we'll see.
Yep. So Jalug, you start running around the side of the house. Puck, you jump up, light the blade, and you see the hooded figure stop. They're facing away from you now. They're kind of facing north. and they just stop and don't turn around. You start walking towards them.
Very slowly.
You see their hands start to go down towards their.
Yeah, call it that. Just like
The hands go back up. You're
keep
maybe
approaching slowly.
20 feet, 15 feet. Doesn't move, just as stationary, facing the tree. You're kind of coming from this direction. You walk across the roof and you can hear it creaking, as you're moving. It's solid enough, no one's going to fall through it, but like it's old.
I'll get close. Probably staying about 10 feet away. Sword and I reckon he probably didn't bring his crossbow. He's probably just got the dagger and the
Sure.
Yeah, but he's got the blade is ignited and he sort of holds it towards them.
Yeah, you kind of like illuminate the back of this black cloak, and what you notice is that this hooded figure stands pretty much the same height as you do.
Drop the hood. Is Jalou
See the hands.
coming up at all?
You
Like,
catch
you'd
out of
be
the
able to
corner of
hear.
your eye. You catch out of the corner of your eye. He hasn't got up on the roof yet.
Yep.
The hands start going towards the hood, and they flick it down. And would you be able to describe the back of Laurie's head for us, please?
If you've seen the back of Puck's head, it's pretty similar. The hair is a little more grey in it. And there's a jagged scar running across the back of the head, where even with the slightly longer hair maybe that he has than Puck, there's a big scar that runs across the back of the head, where there is no hair growing. And Puck recognizes the scar, but he doesn't put the sword down yet. Turn around.
Takes a couple of steps and turns around as you see your Laurie standing in front of you. And he looks at you and goes, "Well, you've gained quite some skills, Paxton."
Puck he's still he has not had his rest, right? He's still really tired.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways he doesn't think this is real.
Right.
He thinks that he's awake. He definitely thinks he's awake. He woke someone else up. Like he's, everything feels real. He probably just pinched himself a little bit for a second. You? What are you doing here? Does he have anything on him that would be from Jarasco, or what weapons does he have on? Like, what can I see on him?
Yeah. So the cloak kind of opens
The
up.
sword is lowering, but it's not all the way down.
Yeah, but the flame is igniting
Yeah.
the light around him. You see that there's a blade. It's sheathed. There's probably a couple of maybe mini potions on a belt or something, or he looks equipped. My current mission is to keep an eye on my little brother.
Your mission.
You're
for
quite
who?
hard to track sometimes.
Well, they taught me well. Your mission from who?
He gives a laugh. I think you picked some of that skill up from me, let's be honest.
You were gone before I even started.
Well, I didn't want to outshine you.
I think I got worse treatment from the teachers based on how you did.
Huh. You don't even know the meaning of it. You see him like relax a little bit.
Yeah, I think Puck's still not relaxed, especially knowing that he's outwardly claiming to be working for House Jarasco still. Is that really why you're here?
No, yes. I'd love to sit down for a cup of tea and catch up, but there's pressing matters at hand.
Like what?
Like keeping you lot in check. You've become a thorn in the side. Really.
Jarasco's tried and failed to keep us in check. They tried to kill us.
Yes, that was an unfortunate. Like he doesn't stutter on this. I'm just trying to think. He goes, that's an unfortunate decision that was made. That was a decision that shouldn't have been made.
Can I insight that? And I wanted to see if I can work out or ascertain at all if he was involved in that decision.
Yep, go for it.
There's another natural one. I mean, the other one was a 4, but I'll re-roll the other one anyway. You know what? That was another natural 1, so that makes it pretty low. Puck's very tired. I don't know what that's going to be, but it'll be like a 5 or something like that. So
yeah, it's weird because I think you're getting a little bit confused with your brother talking, and it's like, hold on, is he joking? Is he? Wait, no, we're not in a joking family situation, but also this is Laurie, and yeah, it's a little bit overwhelming.
He's being really calm and casual, and Puck doesn't feel calm or casual about this meeting. Like he hasn't seen him for over 10 years. Yeah. So yeah. Puck's very weirded out, and like also really wants to trust him, but also doesn't feel like he can at the moment. Not with what he's saying.
Yeah. Laurie looks at you and says, "You have no business being here, little brother. Go home. Be safe. These world matters shouldn't concern you. I can't protect you forever.
You protect me." It wasn't you who saved me when they sent us in with a bomb.
No. No, you have done well. I'll give you that.
You need to cut ties with this organization. Come with us. Tell us what you know. We can stop them.
You see him hesitate at that. He gives a sigh. I wish that were possible, Paxton, but I owe them. And unfortunately, I can't walk away. You can.
I already did. Can you afford to walk away from your only family, though?
No insight required. You see that stabs him harder than a flaming sword. It's getting late. He goes to put up the hood. I have to go.
I'm
Don't
going
get
to kill
involved.
him.
I reckon you say that at the same time. Don't get involved, and I'm going to kill him. And you see him kind of look down at his feet, and then look up to you and meet you in the eyes and go, "Make sure it's permanent." And then he runs off the roof.
Yeah, Puck definitely takes like a couple of steps after him. And then stops. and turns off the flame. And it's just where it's,
You
standing there
you climb up.
confused.
Jalug, you now climb up. Puck, maybe you get the inclination of, did that take Jalug a little bit longer than it should have? You're tired, you're not sure. But Jalug, you climb up on the roof and see Puck standing there alone.
Do they get possums here?
Just halflings.
I like it here. It's, smells old.
I'm not sure what I make of it. I'm not sure how much more sleep I'm going to get for the next little while. I've got a bottle of brandy.
Everyone wakes up.
Yeah, just of the cork, and it's just like everyone's.
Here's air just like twitches.
Yeah.
Like we're standing like in, I imagine like a pretty dark, obviously there's the city glow, but it's moonlit kind of rooftop. It's cold. We should get back inside.
Yeah. Oh well.
Will
Good to feel that.
Will you sit with me for a few minutes downstairs?
Sure. I imagine Julie just like really effortlessly climbs down, like just like
Does a double
definitely
backflip.
not like it was hard to get up. Yeah.
Just steps off the edge and keeps walking.
Yep.
You go back inside and pop open this brandy. You two are just sitting
No
there.
glasses.
No glasses, passing the bottle between you.
It was-
Unless specified. Oh, sorry. Go.
Yeah. Probably won't go for too long, but
No.
you've not been with us too long, but that was my brother. He's working with Jurasco. He says he owes them. He was kicked out. I'm from Galanda, as you might have guessed, but he was chased out by Galanda, and
you're very hospitable. Taking the drink.
yeah. Puck's probably not actually drinking a lot of it. He probably had a big drink at the start, but he probably isn't really touching a lot of it. I don't think he...
Yeah, I don't... I'm a little confused.
Do
Where...
you have family?
Oh, yeah. I did. I think I still do. I haven't been back to the homelands for years. Most of my clan were out fighting, and I assume some made it back.
We have to stop Josu killing. I think my brother thinks he's protecting me, but I suppose I see it the other way. The reason I left was to get him welcomed back. We have to stop healing.
I understand family deaths. It's a powerful motivation.
My parents died when I was very young. And we were taken in by another branch of the house, but very, very well taken care of. Certainly didn't have a tragic childhood. I don't really know what he did to get kicked out, but I have a lot to think about. Puckbray stands up, knocks over the stool as he does. And probably I think he just leaves it on the ground as he walks off down back to bed. He just leaves the bottle with you. And he probably just kicks off his shoes, drops the sword on the ground.
Yep.
And it rolls in facing the wall kind of thing. Eyes open but in bed trying to rest, but just a million thoughts going through his head.
Jalug, as you're left alone out there with the bottle, it's approaching dawn. What are you doing? You gonna grab a couple more hours, or?
Yeah, I think Jalug, he thought he was a simple man, and he was a good fighter, and it was about coin. And now he sees all this stuff, and there's this, whatever's going on with this Caspian person who is, and then like now there's his brother of Puck, and and obviously, he's caught glimpses of, and just the occasional wild-eyed look in Hera's eyes. It's like there's weird stuff, and like for all of these people, in the same way that he's coming into terms with like these weird things that are happening to him, but he still wasn't really aware of there being this bigger picture. And to be honest, he's kind of trying to hide the fact he doesn't really understand what's the deal with this crown and why anything like this is happening. But there's a million things, and they're all starting to line up, and he's starting to see what, like, his version of what's going on. But he's just like, he looks at the bottle, leaves it up, he closes it up, and then goes, just walks back into bed just to continue to sleep, as he's just trying to work. His brain's sort of trying to run through, okay, but there's Jarosco, but then there's this Keeling faction, but there's these guys, and who is the Oryx, and like his mind's just like trying to draw these links. And I think that there's just so many that just the overwhelmingness of it is actually relaxing, because he just comes to the point, it's like, I'm just going to help these guys out. Like, whatever ends up coming in, they've been helpful, they're friendly, I'm going to help them. And it doesn't matter all this bigger picture. And that the overwhelmingness of it gives him a sense of comfort, because it's like, it's okay. It's so much bigger than me that it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think as the hulking figure he is, he kind of closes the bottle and puts it on, and these thoughts are going around. And like you said, because there are so many thoughts, even this whole evening, you've actually kind of just relaxed and feeling comfortable with yourself and your own place in this group. And I think what we don't see, if the camera kind of zooms out a little bit, is as Jalug corks the bottle, and you just see him going over these things in his head and kind of almost looking down as he moves to his room. You see the fireplace dim down. You see the chairs push themselves in with a force that no one can see. You see the blankets almost kind of just pull themselves up on everyone that's sleeping as Jalug's telepathic reach subconsciously closes each window and each door and turns down the corner of the rug as he moves to his room. And as he gets into the bed and just covers himself, it pulls the sheet up on Puck a little bit, and almost that kind of outwards thing that Jalub doesn't even notice, as he not shelters but kind of embraces this group. Hera, as you sit in bed, looking around, you see, with a perception check actually, first.
So at disadvantage because of exhaustion.
Yes.
Perception. 14.
14. You seem to sit up in bed and you look around the house and you see Molokov standing up and moving outside, almost like through the walls. You see Ghost talking to the fireplace. You see Puck up on the roof and Jalug moving through the corridors, subconsciously closing doors and windows, and then it almost seems to repeat but start at the same time, and you feel a hand on your shoulder and that deep voice which feels like almost flesh gurgling as it boils. Will you wake them? Or will you let them dream?
I will let them dream. Sometimes they need to.
Yes. Sometimes we all need to dream. And you can see this almost green glow start floating around each of them. We are close. I can see through many of my eyes, and we are close.
Yeah. Starting to realize how many eyes you have. It's very impressive.
Eyes are good for seeing, but not much more than that. Soon I will be here. Soon we can all dream.
Seems you have not just eyes, but hands as well. Some of those hands seem very capable.
So hear him kind of give a laugh, but almost just like the single, like, huh. The day we meet is coming fast. Are you ready?
No. But I will be.
Good. You are promised to me. In exchange. You remember.
I will see you soon.
And you kind of look up again and you just see the four walls of your room as the sun comes through. And you're not sure whether that was a vision or not. You're not sure whether they were in dreams or not. But you look down at your hand and it has engraved itself a little bit more and rotted a little bit more of the flesh and fur away. As you all kind of wake in the morning, you can all take your long rest. And one by one, however you want to come out to the lounge and stuff, you feel rested, whether things are playing on your mind or not. You feel like you've woken up, but you don't even need a coffee. It feels good to be in this place.
I was so sure we were doing an exhausted fight.
Another exhausted fight.
Yeah. So yes, as you come out to the lounge, if anyone wants to bring up anything of mentioning things or how they look, how they feel, but otherwise, start the planning of the day.
Jalug's up and about, making breakfast, feeling like,
Nice.
all right, I'm not going to be able to be a forger. I'm not going to be able to make all these big plans. What I can do is help in the material sense, and so he'll do that. He might look across and see a cloak that's got a couple of jagged cuts in it, and consider should he try and mend that, but yeah, just he's in the kitchen.
Nice. A good old proper army feed for everyone. Like,
Hearty.
Ghost?
I was just saying, imagine there's also a bunch of weird ingredients of there's this crushed beetle thing, and I'm sure a lot of the stuff is actually not food. It's some other random thing. But Julie's like, oh, cool, weird spice. I'll put this stuff in, and he's just tasting, trying some things, and yeah.
Ghost seems quite calm and almost unusually organized as he starts pulling out a bunch of things, lays his pistol on the table, pulls out stuff from his bag, all of his a bunch of various contraptions and bits and pieces, and he starts organizing a couple of them into a pile of yes, I need those. Sees the roughly cut cloak patterns and goes,
with a pseudo dragon curled up on top of it.
Yeah. You will also see there's a bottle of brandy next to one of the couches, corked but half drunken.
Oh, very good. Everyone's doing their own thing. Just slightly out of character. The artificers need to think about their infusions for the day.
I was going to say, if you were in the lounge, Molokov probably, because he was probably one of the first to go to sleep. Was probably relatively early up as well, and I think from the moment he does wake up, he sort of realizes immediately today's today, and all the stuff he couldn't do last night is now
possible.
He's working on it. So I imagine he's in the lounge, and Fallout 4 on the power armor. He's got the armor is standing there in the middle of the lounge, and he's got his tools everywhere, and he's tuning things up. He's since we haven't done anything since the level up, it's mechanically there. He's adding quite a few things. He's ripping parts off. Very much in the way that Molokov builds things. It's all of that, and yeah. So that's I imagine what you wake up to or walk into the lounge to.
Nice.
You've been busy, and as I go through, and you're making piles of junk, and I'm going through my stuff, I kind of look over at something that I have, and I look over at your pile of junk, and I look back again, and pick a cog out, and can I keep this?
Of course.
Great. Um, oh man, some should do so little time.
So much to do, so little time.
Yeah.
I
So I
finished the
believe
goggles though.
the forgery kit is being made. So Puck, are you going to start on that?
Yep, that just exists.
Puck is he's probably really late getting up, honestly, especially with like the midnight jaunt. To really get his rest. He also very hurt, so he's appreciating being up and awake and healthy now. Eventually will make his way out. Probably only eat a little bit, but will grab that forgery kit. Kind of keeping to himself maybe a bit more than normal, but he's going to go sit in the corner and start trying to get that sorted out.
So I think we agree that it was a DC 25.
That's right.
Yep.
Do it. We can come back to you.
Sure, but I can do it now, whatever you want.
Oh, I thought you were just talking to Anna. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
And,
One of the artificers would like to guide him.
Sure. Well, that's what I was about to
I'm
say.
there.
It's a DC 25 for each ticket, and I think we agreed it could be performance or sleight of hand.
Yeah.
Right. So if we want to give aid, guidance, or anything, now's the time as Puck starts on this thing for the morning.
Cool. I think it was guidance.
Yes. I mean, you look busy, Molikov. My organization's a little bit easier than yours. I'll stick with Puck.
Okay.
All right. So it's a forgery kit, but it is of my design, so I can help guide you as to matching patterns. My eye for details not as great as Molikov's. However, replication is my specialty. Kind of.
Perfect.
In my own way.
I have done this before, but some of these tools are a bit like he'll hold up a pen and then hold up. He's got like a fountain pen, and he's like, strange.
So my understanding was that we're trying to replicate Josu and Shapiro's ticket.
Yeah, we're like replicating it, but then putting it on. I'm not sure if it had numbers or if it table numbers or if it had people's names on it. But like, however I'm doing, I'm replicating it other than changing that one detail, kind of thing.
Yep.
All right. With guidance.
So first ticket.
Going with a sleight of hand.
Yes, you were guided.
That is a 13 on the D20 plus 1 with the guidance plus 8.
That takes you to what?
So 14. Was it 14 plus 8 is not enough.
22.
Not enough. You kind of
at the last minute, as you go to make a certain stroke with the tool, Ghost reaches forward and grabs your wrist and goes, "Wait. No, the angles aren't right. Hold on." And he takes the tool out of your hand and makes an adjustment to it, and then gives it back to you. I will use my flash of genius to add 4 to your roll. 5 to your roll.
Is that enough?
All right. Yeah, that's enough.
That's enough. And you complete this first ticket and you hold it up next to the other one and you see it almost... The original has a magical glow around it. This one, it doesn't have magic around it, but the way you hold it always catches the light to give it that glow around it. And it is enough to... for all intents and purposes, pass off as an actual ticket.
Well, actually, if it's a magical glow, I can also aid in that. I can use my magical tinkering ability to replicate.
I might
the
give
glow
that one over
effect.
to you then, while I get started on the second one or something.
All right. So before we come to the second one, what's everyone else doing? Here, Julie's already given his one.
I'm passing. I just pop in different bit of food here or there. Maybe Puck's busy working on this, and I take the knife. He doesn't even notice because and the next time I come back, it's put back as sharp. That kind of thing.
What's sort of something, but I'll Yeah, no, I think I will be, at least in the moment, sort of watching what's happening. Like, if everyone's moving around, sort of after that visit. Probably woke up a little bit more serious, like I was before we got to here, sort of thing. Like that relaxed vibe is definitely gone again. But we'll probably be like, if they're like in here in the room, we'll be sitting, or like just sort of like standing, leaning against the doorway, watching, and probably just sort of like, I guess maybe like almost playing with the crystal ball in my pocket, just like fiddling. But I'm just sort of like watching them at the moment, knowing that we kind of need to get these replications to be perfect.
Yep.
And I guess kind of probably half going through thinking about what I'm going to say to Tavash when I go and talk to him.
Sure. All right. So as everyone kind of continues, well, are you going to go by yourself, or are you going to wait till everyone starts leaving to go to talk to him?
I was going to wait and see if anyone wanted to come with me / see what's happening when we're dispersing. But I'm kind of just watching over this because I want to make sure that it goes through, sort of thing.
Okay.
Thinking,
So yeah.
watching Ghost help him. I'm sort of thinking of any way that I could possibly help. There's only one that really springs to mind, which is playing on me a little bit. But that's why I'm sort of not in the room. I'm sort of staying back, just sort of watching.
So we wind the clock forward a little bit as the activities continue. And Puck, if you want to prepare to do the second ticket.
Yeah. I think he's been working on it very slowly and meticulously, sort of getting used to these tools. And he's going to go for it again. Is there a guidance on this one as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So guidance. Any other things coming in?
I have my 2 things, and if I need it, I can use the Flash of Genius again.
Yeah, no, we're all good this time. So it's 19 plus 8. So
Nice.
27.
Nice.
Sleight of hand. Letting me do sleight of hand?
Yeah.
I've learnt my lesson from the first one.
Yeah. And I think it is. It's that thing where you go to do something again and you're already doing the next step before you're thinking about it. You probably do catch yourself before you get too cocky. And you're like, just take your time, and you go through it. But yeah, over the next hour or so, whatever, you now have 2 forged tickets. Now, I'm going to give you the option of creating a third one, but it will be at disadvantage.
I don't think
As you see the remnants of the forgery kit, there's enough to make a third one, but like you've got to get it spot on.
I suppose it doesn't hurt to try because I'm not going to lose anything. So maybe I should just do it. So maybe I'll try. But yeah, I don't really need it. I don't think so. It doesn't really. So not a lot of risk. All right, I'll give it a crack. What do you think, Ghost? Try one more. I think there's enough leaf.
I think with two successes, it's kind of like you know what you're doing here. I think if there had been hiccups along the way, the third one wouldn't have become available. But 2 straight successes, basically. Yeah, we could try for a third.
You remember another name? Maybe something less titled? Another table, maybe?
Oh, we put down onus. Or Arturo.
Disguise self isn't concentration. Just gonna throw that out there.
Isn't.
I think that means
I'm gonna put it
isn't. So we could probably hit someone else as well.
I don't know if you've also taken a look at Alter Self.
I have.
Bear in mind that Disguise Self specifies self.
Oh, it does?
Puck's going to remember a conversation had on a journey where someone started talking to him about his brother and suddenly turned to dust and he's going to put it down in Dr. Arturo's name, or Artuno's name, sorry. Yeah.
So a legitimate ticket with a different name on it?
Yeah, with a dead man's name on it.
Yep.
Alright, spicy.
I mean, we'll see. Okay. No, that won't do it. There's a... Actually, you know what? I have an inspiration that I'm going to burn to roll again. Which, at a disadvantage, will that just mean I roll 1 again? Or will I
You'll roll the
both again
lower
and
one
still be at
again. Yeah. Now
Okay.
you didn't feel like you needed this one. So if you want to, you don't have to use your inspiration on it. You do have the 2 tickets that were part of the plan. It's up to you.
Yeah, no, I think I'm just gonna take. I don't think I'm gonna. It's just gonna fail. I think I'm probably just gonna. Yeah, I think he misaligns some of the leaf. He's heating the press to put the pattern on the edge of the page. Misaligns the leaf a little bit, burns a bit through the paper, and now there's not really enough leaf to cover it, and probably just drops the tools and. Oh, sorry. I think hand slipped. That's okay. I think the plan stands. We've got 4 tickets for the 4 of you, and I can just let myself in through the upper windows.
Yeah, figure out how to open them, hopefully.
I'll go nice and early.
You've done amazingly.
And I looked at the windows anyway. Like, Puck's probably got a bit of a plan of how he's going to get in based on... Because he walked around upstairs a little bit as well. Yeah. Well...
Was it you who got the inkling of the windows being magically...
I think that was
having
me.
a magical switch on them? Oh, yeah.
That was Jalugia, who I assume would have shared that. Yeah, it was that these windows have magical essence about them, and it seems like they can be turned on and off. So maybe it might get turned on at doors, maybe earlier. You're not too sure.
Yeah. That's okay. I don't have to go in through the window. Yeah, that's probably all he's going to do.
All right. Cool.
But,
So
we do need to dress maybe a little nicer. That's all.
you have a look around and everyone's in like cracked armor and boots that still have dried mud on them.
You see, he was just attaching like a massive part to the armor and starts. Small armor today. I see. Okay, it's like rips that bit back off and.
But yeah, that's kind of what I want to know from today as well. Is any preparations for the?
Yeah, I'm still deciding spells. How you doing?
I think I'm
Okay.
pretty locked in on spells.
Well, why don't we focus on Hera then? You see, everyone has a task. Everyone's busy. If anyone, Jalug could probably come accompany you. You 2 are the ones that are going to be using these tickets for yourselves. So
Yeah, I was going to say, probably seeing that everyone's busy, seeing that we got the 2 replica tickets is sort of like a weight off sort of thing. So that's all sorted. She's sort of like going through things in her head and stuff to do and whatnot, and sort of see Jalou maybe tidying up in the kitchen after everyone's eaten. Jalou, we probably need to get our outfits sorted out for today. Why don't you come with me to talk with my professor, and then from there we can go and see if we can find some nicer clothes.
Sounds like a good plan, I reckon.
Alrighty. What was I going to talk to my professor about again? What did we want him to do?
You were going to like try
specifically?
and spread the word kind of thing, or see if he could like be like get a warning out kind of thing, like hey, the crown's really dangerous. Either trying to talk to the person who has it, or kind of start this rumor or something along those lines. That was kind of the intentions. Obviously, what he does is up to him, but that was kind of what we were hoping We could kind of be like, hey, like really don't use this. It's really quite dangerous.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll say that you kind of head out with Jalug. Sticking within the college, you go to Tavash's office and he's not there, but one of the apprentice students is like, "Oh, he's just harvesting some herbs down in the garden." And so you kind of go down around a path and you see him kind of, shin deep in this kind of bog, picking out some colorful mushrooms into a basket as he turns around to you. And the sun is coming down, but it's still kind of like sheltered by these dense trees and stuff that have grown, and still like those streams of light are coming through. As he turns around to you and goes, Hedda, trust you slept well and recovered, and I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting." He looks at Jalug, and you see he kind of looks at him curiously, like he looked at Puck. Professor Tavash, he outstretches his hand to you.
Reciprocate.
As he
I'll do like the warrior's grip. Yeah.
As you do, you feel that his arm is very frail, like you could snap it off quite easily. But he seems to hold on for that second longer as he looks at you and goes, it's nice to meet you. Haven't had much experience with one that helps the journey. Looks back at Hera. I suppose you're getting ready for the ball tonight.
Yes, it's our main plan for the day is to get ourselves all sorted out. It's actually part of what I wanted to talk to you about this morning. I mean, I know you're aware of the artifact being displayed, and I think you're picking up the effect that it seems to be having on Dean Talos. Is it Talos it's called?
Yep.
On Dean Talos. But we seem to be pretty convinced that the crown is, in fact, quite dangerous, like you were saying. Not something that we would want to be used. We're hoping maybe, a few students talking about it is going to seem just like ruckus, and the other students obviously don't like the Oryx and the security presence. So coming from us, it's not going to sound as authentic. We're hoping maybe you might talk to some of the other professors and just heed a warning. This crown is great and magical, yes, like most artifacts are, but perhaps caution is needed. We
Gives
just
a
don't
nod
want
to you.
anyone to unnecessarily get hurt or affected.
Yeah, I understand. I've felt a disturbance. Well, it goes past my knowledge, but you may be aware that Lorehold College use the spirits of the dead to inform their discoveries. I seem to feel a presence of those beyond. It doesn't feel right. I will warn the other professors to be aware. I would hate for the spirits of the dead to be used in ill will. If this crown is as dangerous as you say, I think I mentioned to you yesterday that it is rumored to be able to contact other planes.
Yeah, I just was thinking exactly on that. You usually do use the dead to help with lots of things. Have you had trouble connecting with them? Do you find
You see him
sometimes
kind
you
of.
go to talk, but there's no one on the other side?
You see, he kind of looks at you a bit quizzically and goes, "Aye, we have had some troubles. You have experienced the same thing?"
Not as such. But I have seen things which would make the implication.
I do
I've
find
had
it
trouble
curious.
speaking to the dead.
you say that, Jalug, almost as a bit of a break the tension kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Tavash looks at you and goes, "Speaking might not come naturally, but you are very good at aiding people on getting there, I imagine." Looks at your sword.
I nod. That's a bit chastened for interrupting, but yeah.
And it's not a rebuttal that you'd get in a tavern or from a commander. It's almost like this professor is instigating this conversation, and you feel included in the conversation rather than being talked at or down to. And it goes, "Well, we all play our part, and Hera, you've done quite well of bringing together, well, 5 different aspects of death."
Yes, funny you say you took the words right out of my mouth. I'll sort of, in the similar way that Tavash looked at Jalug and then to his sword, I will look to the sword and then to Jalug, and almost in the same of what he just said, but more of a reassuring way, like we all play our parts in the journey of life and death. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes. Some protect, some carry, some chase, some deliver, and some even reverse. But you seem strong. Talking to you again, Jalug. But you don't seem aware of your full potential. Now, I would congratulate anyone that protects my students. And Hera seems to be, well, on a path of significance of some sort. Take this as a token of my gratitude. And pulls out a ring that seems to be one of those rings that if you get like a ribbon, but you twist it in one thing, it's an infinity.
Yeah.
You never leave the side. That's the kind of look of it.
Like
And
a
hands it over.
Morbius loop.
Yeah. Hands it over to you and goes, "Power is one thing, but knowing what to do with it, knowing who to transport from this life to the next, that takes skill." And hands it to you, and you can add a ring of amity to your inventory.
And what does it afflict?
This Puck's like in the shadows. I will spread the word, but I can't guarantee the other professors will align on what we're thinking. Is there anything else you need from me, Sister Hera?
No, not really. Just spread the words. Be careful yourself. And just, well, what am I saying? You're on your own journey as well.
Turns around and picks another mushroom and puts it in the basket.
It's good to see you. All right. Shall we get some sort of look down, also standing like shin deep in the muck? Should we get some cleaner clothes?
Yeah, I think that's. I'm just twisting the ring around in my hand. That's a good idea.
So for cleaning clothes, are you going to go back to the house first, or are you going to go out into the uni and start shopping?
No, I suppose we'll head from, because I suppose we would have head from the dormitories down towards the front area where his office was, and then we'll have obviously gone outside to wherever he is, and we'll just keep going. I assume there's like an op shop slash sort of all
Yeah.
down thing for college affairs, and lots of
Yeah.
wealthy people give away their second-hand clothes, so we'll be able to find something relatively nice.
Yeah, 100%. So basically, you walk to the store, and between the wizard and the fighter, you can pick out some gear. Are you getting gear for everyone or just yourselves?
I believe just us, because Puck's
Yeah.
hiding, the other two are disguising.
Disguising. Sure.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, you kind of go through some racks of clothes, and the little helpers come out, and they're almost like Claptrap from Borderlands bots that come out, and they have coat hangers coming out from each arm, and in lieu of a fashion montage, you start picking your pieces together, and you can reveal them next week or next time when we show up at the ball. But so have a think about how they would dress themselves for this occasion. And I believe Jono just read the description of the ring.
The second part of it's cool. Yeah, I had to look it up because it's like
it's pretty good.
I was trying to find it, and it's like, oh, you need Bigby's giant thing or whatever to add it. So then I just looked it up.
It should be shared with you, but
yeah, I don't know. I'll try anyway. But I found it somewhere else to read it. So
yeah,
that's
sweet.
Cool. Yeah, we'll find some cool clothes.
Sweet. So now we're talking. We're getting to the middle of the day kind of thing. So what's everyone back at the dorm doing?
I think Puck probably pretty much needs to just go and try and start working out how he's going to get in, like just checking like how set up is it already. So he's probably going to go and do that. And again, he's probably going to go past the place he ran into Keeling again. But this time from the roof, I think he's sneaking around a bit more, knowing that someone's trying to watch him. He's, using all the tricks in his book of, doubling back on himself, going down an alley, climbing over a fence. And he still has the amulet of proof against detection, which means that no one can magically scry or locate him.
Yep. Yeah, cool. I think we will, because we'll wrap up soon, but I'm aware that we're not doing a game next week. So I think the entrance to the ball is going to be our kicking off point. So anything we want to wrap up before then. So like Puck, you start going on your way, but I think let's do that sneaking in properly at the start of next session.
Sure.
So yeah, Michael and Ian, anything you're doing to prepare before we all start going?
I'd like to have an actual go at the cloaks.
Sure.
Well, thankfully, I know the mending cantrip, so your uneven cuts are fucking sweet. Yeah, if you want to finish them off, please be my guest. I think I did most of the work of like getting the embroidery right and getting the patterns into place so that we can actually make it smaller and still keep the enchantment on them.
And did you ever detect what that enchantment was?
The only thing I have noted down is that it gives advantage against psychic abilities.
Yep.
So I don't quite know the specifics.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
I've absolutely taken my resistance to psychic confusion this morning.
Advantage on psychic effects, yeah, is all I've got written down.
Yep.
The only other things I wanted to get done were infusions for like the whole party. So at some point this will happen. But currently I've got, I think Ian, you do all of yours on yourself, right?
Yes, currently.
Yeah, cool. So I've currently got my pistol, Puck's crossbow, and a bag of holding. But what I can do, I can also do Mind Sharpener, which will, when you fail a con save to maintain concentration, you succeed instead by expending a charge. I can do a spell refueling ring, which gives you an extra 3rd level spell slot, or gives someone a resistant armor. I just will have to swap out one of those infusions. So it's like, Puck, could you do with something different other than an enchanted crossbow, or is that really important to you for this evening?
The real advantage I get out of it is that it is then magical damage, but also it's not a massive thing. Like, I don't think that's going to be super duper important necessarily tonight, but like that's the main advantage that I get out of it. Otherwise, it's just mundane shooting.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can take that back if you need to. That's totally fine. I also, with my sword, I still use it a lot because I use it as a bonus action to shoot, but like that's not necessarily my main attack. Although, yeah, like as I said, like the real advantage is that it becomes magical damage, which isn't a huge problem.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it might be better to put an infusion on something else and or someone else.
Another psychic resistance would be pretty good. Maybe on Jalug.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
I'm
just
pretty-
resistance to damage. What was that, Jalud?
Like, my weapons, like my weapon is good. I feel like I've got good armor and stuff. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I need it, but like, yeah, it's probably not a bad idea, I guess. If there's a spare one going around, but like honestly, if there's other things that people can use, then it's okay.
Yeah,
I guess
well,
the thing is you don't know what you're going up against specifically.
Yeah.
If it does turn ugly, or if it doesn't, are you prepared to? If you need to run, do you have running spells? If you need to fight, do you have fighting spells? It's a bit of an open book at the moment, which makes it a bit hard to prep for. But you do have the day to prep for it. So
I think I've got a good spread of get the fuck out of there and also fuck shit up.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got a lot of. I've got some get out of there. Yeah, I've got a little bit of healing. I've got some condition stuff as well.
It's gonna be how many 2nd level slots do I have throughout the day? Is gonna be the real. Because I've taken invisibility because I thought that was a good call to be able to, disappear if we need to.
As have I. But then we both have to. We're the ones who are disguising ourselves, right? So I imagine we're both using Alter Self, which is 2nd level.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be kicking the day off spending one. How long does Alter Self last again?
Believe it's
1
hour.
Yeah, an hour.
Yeah, so you want to do it.
It is good though, and I think it's the right choice to use that instead of disguise self.
Well, I have to because I can't be a 4 foot tall.
Of course, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's how that works.
I mean, you can.
Probably not in front of their actual bosses. Sorry, their workers.
Mm.
But then I guess like once we're in there's the option to go somewhere and drop disguises, but that's a next week session thing. But yeah, other than finishing,
and
those
it might
cloaks,
be on the fly thing.
Exactly. Like I don't expect these disguises. Like if these disguises get us one step through the front door before they fail, then I'll call that a win. Like I think if we're getting, if we can at least get in there, then I think we can do well.
All right, so I think we call the session there. As everyone straps up their boots, and it's that lunchtime before the dinner that it's like, oh, there's only 4 hours, but they're going to fly past.
Yeah.